If the Oscars is the Super Bowl, then Pete Hammond is its quarterback, and that's you.
Oh, thanks,
So
man.
I want. Welcome to the Actor's Guide to Success, and today we have a very, very special guest. His name is Pete Hammond. Now, that name may not strike you right away, but he is a true influencer here in Hollywood. He is the chief film critic for Deadline Hollywood.
Yeah.
He is also the awards editor and columnist for all the Oscars and all the Emmys. You've been nominated for 5 Emmys.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I brought you here today is we want to talk about the Oscars.
Yes.
And you are, of course, very famous for picking the winners. And I'm going to talk about Oscars from an acting point of view. Who should win at it from an acting, artistic point of view?
Okay.
The first thing we do, of course, is that you can't compare one role to the other because it's just not fair. So just to preface that it's just something we're doing for fun.
Right.
Let's start with the supporting actress category. We have Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell.
Well, the one I like the most is the one I think is going to win. So that's easy. Laura Dern.
Yes.
In Marriage Story. I've watched her career. I just did a tribute to her at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, and she was wonderful. We went through her whole career. This is somebody who's, a daughter of the town, as it were, and daughter of parents who are actors, and really was born literally on a film set. I mean, she was conceived on the set of The Wild Angels, the Peter Fonda, Nancy Sinatra biker movie. But, she's so interesting, and she's hard to pinpoint because she's done these different things, and I don't think Hollywood quite knew what to do with her in a lot of ways, and so she's done it herself.
I also think when we have Oscar, that people who win, for me, from an acting point of view, have sort of an Oscar moment.
Yeah.
Some moment that can really show what they can do. And I think I agree with you. I think Laura Dern is the best choice. So what I like when I look at a performance from an acting point of view are choices. We're going to talk about making choices that a normal person wouldn't do.
Right.
How would everybody play it? And she put such humanity in it. And I totally agree with you. I don't think that people knew what to do with her because she's not quite leading lady. She's in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Supporting actor category, we have Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah.
We have Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, which one did you like best, and who do you think is going to win?
Well, this is an interesting category because it's like, you heard of Oscar fraud before?
Yes.
This is loaded with leading actors in here. Many of them have won past Best Actor Oscars. Could have easily gone in the lead actor category.
Absolutely.
But in the case of Brad Pitt, they didn't want to team him with Leonardo and have them cancel each other out. In the case of Anthony Hopkins, didn't want to do that with Jonathan Price. And on and on. Al Pacino's a lead in The Irishman, but he's not the Irishman.
Right.
So they can make that argument. And Joe Pesci's a true supporting actor in the role. And, Tom Hanks is so great as Mr. Rogers, and people think, and the movie sold on him, and of course he has lead billing and all of that. Anthony Hopkins, though, and Jonathan Price, those are co-leads.
Right.
It's called The Two Popes.
Right. It's not two Pope plus one.
It's the meetings there,
one.
and they're good. But they talked to Anthony Hopkins. He said he's fine going into supporting. These studios decide where you're going to go, and then they push it, and then the actors, who are the ones that vote, have to go along with that, and they generally do. Brad Pitt, again, he's a co-lead here in Once Upon a Time, but he's working in the movie for Rick Dalton, the Leo character, so they can get away saying he's supporting, and he has just swept the field here. He was my choice, though, also. I think Brad Pitt was great as this stunt guy.
Absolutely.
And every scene, it's such a movie star role. And you see what he is, but he's also a terrific actor.
From an acting point of view, I think that Pacino did incredible scenes.
Yeah, he's so good. Just his choices.
Yes, his choices. He
Yeah.
doesn't do anything that you expect, which is what I call great acting, is that he doesn't, he disappears in the role.
Right.
And that's what I love about it.
When he's making that big speech in that hall,
Yeah.
you know, and you watch what he does with his arms and just that movement, I loved. I just noticed, you know, and I go like, God.
He's a very interesting character because we were honored to show one of his films, and then he spoke to my master class a few times. And and what I found out is that he goes to a coach once a week, every week for 40 years.
Oh, see, that's
because he says he's either getting better or bitter. So that's kind of the way it is. All right, we have a next category, which is lead actress. This is an interesting category. We have Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Sharon Saronan, what's her name?
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Yeah, you know, look, from the moment I saw Judy, and actors voting these things love to see actors playing famous people and what they can do. You know, it's easier to sort of judge acting that way.
Right.
Just like Judy Garland.
Yeah.
And she was incredible because she did not let them do a makeup job on her that took away her own features and her own way of interpreting that. I thought it was an incredible performance beyond all the accolades she's got, because she played it not as an impersonation at all, or didn't attempt to, even in the looks, but suggested it, and particularly in the way she sings. She's not Judy Garland, but you believe her as Judy Garland.
And she sang her own songs.
And she sang her own songs. And I have to say the same, though, for Charlize Theron as Megyn Kelly.
Absolutely.
And now there is prosthetics, and she really is made to look like Megyn Kelly. Worked with a vocal coach. You cannot. I just saw Megyn Kelly interviewed on Bill Maher the other day, and I'm listening to her, thinking of Charlize. I couldn't tell the difference between their voices.
No, absolutely.
She really got to. It's one of those performances you go like, whoa, that is an amazing turn, since we've seen Charlize in so many things. We've seen Renee in so many things, and it's interesting to see these two real-life people brought to the screen in these ways here. I call it a tie for them, in my opinion.
I think I agree with you. I think from an acting point of view, I thought that Charlize brought so much humanity and understanding to what she was doing. They're not playing a role. They are the role. They're really living the moment. I also thought that Cynthia Erivo was incredible as Harriet.
She's great. Yeah.
She's not like that at all.
No, she's British. First of all,
she's British. And
she's playing an American
heroine.
American
icon, Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. Leading actor. We have Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for The Joker, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes.
Yeah, I really like them all, but I have to say, Joaquin is going to win.
Yes.
Definitely. That is the showiest role in a lot of ways, but he brought such nuance to playing this guy that is not easy to do when you're playing a iconic comic book character. And of course, Heath Ledger won an Academy Award posthumously for playing the same role, Joker. Wow. So this is like playing Hamlet, you know, that they can, we can judge them both, but they're so different. And this was a chilling movie, Joker. And I thought Joaquin was just, again, it's the choices, what you watch, what he's doing, the dance, his movement, you know, his whole loneliness there of wanting to be on this talk show and wanting to be a comedian and not being good. He was so good at being bad, and you had such empathy for him and sympathy. It's very difficult to do.
Well, one of the things that I talk about, that film affected me the most. I think that is the most powerful film I've seen in 20 years.
Amazing.
I think that it's because it hits you in so many ways. His performance is beyond brilliant because he always stays positive. And his best scene is his last scene for me.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's going to...
In the street?
No, when he shoots...
with De Niro?
Yeah, with De Niro. Because he goes like, you know, I don't mind, you know, he goes, I killed him, but he says it in a very positive way.
I know.
He doesn't, so many actors would go like, I killed him, and he's always like, no, it's okay, and so he goes from rage to happy, oh my God.
It's amazing, and at that point, and you see, this is an origin story.
Yes.
So you're watching a transition of a human being who's being tossed aside by society. The most powerful scene in the movie for me is with the social worker, and he's in that office, and she says, let me just tell you something. They don't care about me, and they don't care about you.
Right.
And that's society, and you can see all hope is going out the window here when that happens because they're shutting down that agency.
The best thing I've heard this last week from Ben Kingsley, who said, "I don't like to act because it's lonely. I like to react." Because then you're
That's
in
great.
a scene with someone.
Yeah, and react is what I do in interviews
Yes,
too.
you're always
I
a
don't-
reactor. You're always when you're interviewing people. That's my favorite, is listening to you, because you really listen to them.
Yeah, I love doing that. I'll just play off of whatever you're saying, and that takes me in places. I prepare for every interview. I want to know something about and what I'm doing, but I like it to go in its own direction. And so I love that Ben Kingsley line, because that's what you should do.
Absolutely. I am thrilled for you to be here. I'm thrilled to
Thanks,
know
man.
you as my friend. And you want to get a great review from Pete. So until we see each other on the red carpet,
Yes.
study. Everything is possible. Acting is better now than ever with all the streaming services.
Yeah.
There's more needs for actors than ever before. And let's keep Pete happy by making some great movies that he can enjoy. So until next time, thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Pete Hammond.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
See you later.
All right.
Thank you all.